All right, so in this weekly fragrance rotation, I honestly think we're just gonna skip spring altogether and go from winter to summer because it's still been pretty cold and I've been dying to pull out some of my warmer months fragrances, but it's still gonna be some more time with some of my darker stuff. So stay tuned and find out which fragrances I decide to wear throughout the week. Hey, what's going on guys? Hunter here and welcome back to my channel. And if you are new, what I do is I make fragrance related content. So if you love fragrances, go ahead and smash the subscribe button down below. But that's right guys, another weekly fragrance rotation I'm bringing to you. And if you aren't familiar with my weekly fragrance rotations, or you're new of course, what I do in these videos is I talk about which fragrances I chose to wear on each day, what temperature it was, how many sprays I did, and if we got any compliments or not. So as per usual, we always start this week off on Sunday, so let's get right to it. Okay, so on Sunday, I was at home on Sunday, and I believe I didn't really do much besides just relax and just chill. And I actually pulled out a kind of a hidden gem and niche house, in my opinion, and it's an awesome house, and I'll tell you guys why in a minute. But the fragrance I pulled out was Abbott Mojave. Now, with Abbott Mojave, I did go 3 sprays of this stuff. And if you haven't heard of the House of Abbott, which by the way, is actually my last name. So I have the same last name as this fragrance house, so I think that is just awesome. And when I discovered them, I just knew I had to get my nose on their fragrances. And with Mojave, it's a very spicy, kind of like an airy tobacco ginger fragrance. And wow, guys, this stuff is addicting. There's only a few fragrances that I just get addicted to and I can't stop smelling either, like out of the cap when I come out to my collection. And this is one of them, guys. This is very, very well done from the house. I highly suggest you guys check out Abbott. And guess what, guys? Soon, you'll be able to check out these fragrances at a Sephora near you, which is awesome. So Sephora is gonna be carrying Abbott, I believe, starting next month. So definitely once they start carrying those, go inside, check them out. I highly recommend checking them out, especially Mojave, which I think is maybe one of my favorites from the line. I have actually tested all from the line. And Mojave is definitely top tier when it comes to perfumery. I am obsessed with this fragrance. All right, so going into the week on Monday. On Monday, I am at work for most of the day. And I actually pulled out one of my favorite delicious fragrances in my collection. And the fragrance is Guerlain's L'Homme Ideal Eau de Parfum. Now, with L'Homme Ideal Eau de Parfum, I did go pretty heavy on the trigger. I went 10 sprays of this stuff. You could definitely pull off 10 sprays of this because it's not inoffensive at all. Most compliments you'll get with this one is like people compliment you saying, wow, you smell delicious. You smell like cherry, kind of like cherry pie. And that's exactly how this fragrance comes across. It has a ton of cherry, a ton of almond as well is what you would expect from the L'Homme Ideal line. But you also have a nice creamy vanilla base in here. And all those notes combined is just done very, very well. You also have a slight smoky incense, but it's nowhere near as smoky as the Le Intense Flaker. But this is such a treat, guys. It smells like a dessert to me. And I absolutely love wearing this one. I didn't get any comments on that day. It was also somewhat of a cold day as well. But that's what I chose to wear for the first day at work for the week is L'Homme Ideal Eau de Parfum. All right, so on Tuesday, it was a little bit warmer. I believe it was in the 60s or so. I decided to pull out the Bleu fragrance that started Bleu fragrances. And of course, I'm speaking about Chanel's Bleu de Chanel Eau de Parfum, which happens to be my favorite flanker over the original EDT and over the Parfum. This one is my favorite. And I've actually had this bottle for around 4 years or so. As you see, I haven't actually went through that much. It's still about 75% full. But of course, with Bleu de Chanel, you get a ton of juicy, almost to die for mouth-watering grapefruit in the opening of this stuff. Very, very crowd-pleasing opening. And it starts to dry down a little bit smoky, incensey, which I think just makes it a very versatile fragrance. So you can wear this one all year round, any occasion, for pretty much every single scenario. That's why Bleu de Chanel is a very, very popular fragrance among men. People love this stuff. I've got so many compliments from this fragrance. But on Tuesday, I did go another 10 sprays of this stuff. And wow, this thing was projecting very, very nicely around my scent bubble and stuff. I can pick it up throughout pretty much the entire day, around 10 hours or so. It lasted on my skin, which is above average in my opinion. I did not get any compliments from Bleu de Chanel, but of course, you're not always gonna be expecting compliments. Some people are just shy to compliment you, or they don't really wanna approach someone to compliment them and whatnot. That's just the way it is. But yeah, usually people love this one. I have gotten many compliments within the 4 years of wearing it. But that's what I chose to wear on Tuesday, is Bleu de Chanel Eau de Parfum. Okay, so on Wednesday, it was a rainy day. And usually on like somewhat warm rainy days, I love to pull out a vetiver fragrance. I think the note of vetiver works perfect in the rain. And I was also at work for most of the day as well. But after I did go out to dinner, and the fragrance I chose for that day is actually Hermes, Hermes Eau Intense Vetiver. And you guys see this bottle is pretty much as big as my head because it's a ginormous 200 ml bottle of Eau Intense Vetiver, which I'll never get through, that's a fact. But with Hermes Eau Intense Vetiver, it's very, very earthy, guys. A very earthy, almost waxy, dry vetiver I get in this fragrance, alongside maybe like a mandarin lemon opening. It's a very, very sophisticated, kind of professional, dress up kind of fragrance. But on that day, I did go 10 sprays of it as well. And this stuff is a beast, guys. It is, I believe, an Eau de Parfum. It's a very, very intense fragrance, hence the name Eau Intense Vetiver. I think this might be my favorite from the Hermes line over the original Hermes, over, I think they have like Eau Fraiche or something like that. But Eau Intense Vetiver is my favorite because if you guys don't know, I'm a sucker for a good vetiver fragrance. And this is definitely amongst the best when it comes to that genre of fragrances. But that's what I chose. I did not get any compliments from this fragrance. But to be honest with you guys, it's not really a compliment magnet by any means. It does come across a little bit unique and different. And like the people that aren't into fragrances aren't really going to understand this fragrance. And that's just my personal opinion. It's just a very different kind of fragrance to the average person. But yeah, I wore Hermes Eau Intense Vetiver on Wednesday. Okay, so wrapping my work week off on Thursday, which is my last day of work. I was at work for most of the day as well. And I actually decided to pull out another blue fragrance. Of course, it's not Bleu de Chanel, but it's one of the competitions to Bleu de Chanel. And I'm talking about Versace Dylan Bleu. Now, with the Versace Dylan Bleu, this is actually one of my newer fragrances in my collection. Surprisingly, before getting this bottle, I never smelled Dylan Bleu. But I can definitely see why it's very, very popular amongst people. With Dylan Bleu, you do get a ton of ambroxan. It comes across pretty spicy, kind of a little bit smoky in the dry down. I think there's incense in here as well. Just very, very crowd pleasing, kind of shower gel vibes I get with this fragrance. And I also did go heavy on the trigger with Dylan Bleu. I went 12 sprays on that day instead of 10 like I have been going. I don't know why, it's just a very crowd pleasing fragrance that you can totally get away with spraying heavy, because it's not offensive at all. Even though I did get a funny comment from my mother, because after work, I did go over to a political debate with people. And when I first came across my mom, she was like, wow, how many sprays did you do? She said it was coming across very, very strong. But I did work a 10-hour shift. I came home and I actually reapplied this again. So I don't know if that would count as more sprays, but I did actually put 5 sprays on at the end of the day to go out to the political debate. So that would actually make it around 17 sprays of this stuff that I did in total. And yeah, she said it was coming across very, very potent, very strong. But she didn't say it in necessarily a bad way, just a strong fragrance. But it was also, I believe, almost in like the 60s, like high 50s if I'm not mistaken. It was also pretty cloudy, but I really enjoyed Dylan Bleu. I'm surprised how much I actually enjoyed this one compared to the other blue fragrances. And I'm totally gonna be doing a review on this very, very soon. So stay tuned to that if you're interested. All right, so on Friday, I actually did not leave the house at all. Usually on Fridays, I like to get errands and stuff like that done since it's still during the week and I don't work. But on Friday, I was not in the mood for any of that stuff. I didn't even leave the house once, just pretty much stayed cooped up inside the house. But I actually went for one of the most sentimental fragrances in my entire collection. And that fragrance is Polo Green by Ralph Lauren. Now, Polo Green is very sentimental to me because this was actually my father's signature scent when I was a kid growing up. And he always had a bottle of this stuff in the bathroom cabinet, guys. And I just remember so vividly smelling this one pretty much almost every day. growing up in my house. And to this day, even the new formulation still smells like Polo green. When I smell this stuff, it's pretty much a time machine to me. It takes me back to the house I grew up in, being a kid, and just pretty much happy times in general, guys. And I don't know why, I was just in the mood to wear this one. I did go 5 sprays of it, so not too heavy, just because I was cooped up in the house. My fiance actually did comment on this fragrance saying it smells very mature, very masculine, and very earthy. She wasn't really a fan of Polo green. To me, guys, this is of course the earthy, tobacco, pine needles, green, kind of chypre-like fragrance, and I absolutely love this stuff. This is a very ultra masculine fragrance. I forget the year this came out, maybe like 70s or 80s if I'm not mistaken, somewhere around there, but I love Polo green, and I will forever have a bottle of this stuff in my collection just for memory's sake. But yeah, that's what I chose to wear on Friday, is Polo green. So wrapping the week off on Saturday. On Saturday, I wore a brand new fragrance I just got in the day prior. And the only reason this wasn't my scent of the day on Friday was because I was already wearing Polo green when I got this in, or I would have definitely worn. But on Saturday, I was so excited to actually get a full wearing of this stuff. And it's a new launch from Roja, which you may know what I'm talking about because I just uploaded my unboxing and first impression. It is, of course, Roja Parfums Apex. This stuff has been talked about a lot since they pretty much announced it, what it's gonna smell like. To me, this is a very chypre, kind of like, it does open kind of citrusy and fruity. It does have like bergamot, lemon, I think mandarin. It has pineapple in the opening as well, but nothing like aventus. The opening of this stuff is pretty short-lived, and that's when the magic happens, in my opinion, is in the dry down of this stuff. It becomes very kind of earthy, green, leathery, smoky, resinous fragrance. And it's really, really polarizing, guys. I know in the unboxing and first impression, I didn't talk about the smoky aspects of this stuff because that was just pretty much the first maybe 10, 20 minutes of the opening of the fragrance. But man, oh man, when this stuff dries down, like in the deep dry down, it's very smoky, very resinous to my nose. And just absolutely blended to perfection by, of course, the master himself, Roja Dove. You can't expect anything less from his perfumery skills. He definitely outdid himself with Apex. It's definitely going to be competing against Scandal and Elysium for being in my top 3 favorite Rojas, for sure. I just absolutely fell in love with this one. Now, I know in my first impression video, I did kind of say, oh, it has a similarity to Chanel and Teus, but guys, as it's dried down, I also get a similarity to Sauvage Elixir, which I think it has been getting compared to. I definitely see the similarities in the dry down of both of them. Somewhat, they are obviously still different. This one is much more chypre-like, much more green, and much earthier, but there is slight similarities to both of those fragrances, which is not a bad thing by any means. On Saturday, I did go 6 sprays of Apex. On Saturday, I didn't do much. I actually did go out shopping and stuff like that. And then during the evening time, I actually watched UFC 273, which if you didn't know, I'm a huge UFC fan. Let me know down below if you've actually made it this far into the video and you're also a huge UFC fan. Shout out to all the other UFC followers, but I didn't get any compliments from Apex. I wasn't really around that many people. That's not a big deal at all, as long as I like the fragrance, and that's all that matters. That's what I pretty much do. I wear a fragrance for me, regardless what anybody thinks. I do not care. Obviously, it's nice to get a compliment once in a while, but that's not my main focus. So yeah, great launch. And guys, the performance behind this stuff, I think this is the best performing fragrance out of the Parfum colognes. I do own all 5 of them: Danger, Vetiver, Scandal, Elysium, and Enigma, and now Apex as well. This isn't necessarily in the Parfum cologne line since it is an eau de parfum and it don't have Parfum cologne anywhere on it. This stuff is strong, pretty much almost beast mode like, guys. Very potent juice. It is a little bit crowd pleasing as well. I was hoping for a little bit more of like an animalic touch in the dry down. It does have a little bit of like a musky ambergris, but it doesn't have as much ambergris as you would find in Scandal. Scandal has a very salty, animalic, dirty ambergris in there. This one does have it, but it's a little bit more toned down and kind of behind like the tobacco, boozy, patchouli, incense, resinous qualities in here. But at the end of the day, phenomenal launch, and I cannot wait to get more full wearings out of this one. But that's gonna wrap up my weekly fragrance rotation. Let me know down below what you guys chose to wear throughout the week. I love hearing it, of course, as always. But Per usual, leave a like on the video if you did enjoy it. Subscribe below if you haven't already. And I'll catch all you guys in the next upload. Take care, everybody.